everybody, and welcome to my 4th episode of Reach for the Stars. And today I'm going to be doing a flip through on a very special vintage deck that I just recently rediscovered in my collection. So I'm very excited to get started on doing a walkthrough with this deck. First things first, this particular deck has been infused with all things India and Yogananda. And I created this lovely little wreath out of chrysanthemum flowers to honor this special deck. And here we have a vintage peacock brooch from the 1960s. And then I have its home inside this lovely little pouch that some whiskey from India, some very special whiskey from India came in. And this was gifted to me from a very good friend of mine from India. So on that note, let's take a closer look at what's inside. Now, this deck was given to me by my Aunt Sandy. Aunt Sandy is and was a hippie in the 1960s, 1970s. She still is. And she lived in Hollywood with Uncle Tony, and they were turquoise dealers. And I used to go with them to the swap meet and sell turquoise. So I'm going to honor today's episode by wearing some of my vintage turquoise during that era. So that was a lot of fun to participate in that with my wonderful Aunt Sandy. So she gifted me this deck in this vintage antique sari silk fabric. And oddly enough, it does not smell like patchouli. It smells like incense from India. Okay, let's see what's inside here. It's been a minute since I've opened up this pouch. Okay, what's in here? This is lovely. Oh, I remember. I put this shell in here. Little gift to the cards, to the tarot gods and goddesses out there. Oh yeah, this is great. This is very old. This is a early 1970s portrait of Meher Baba. Now, Aunt Sandy and Uncle Tony are devotees to Meher Baba, who is a yogi from India. So, wow, that is just quite lovely. What a gorgeous little charm bracelet. Oh, this is just so precious to me. Chai Baba. And then there is some vintage, I believe this is namchatka, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, incense. And it still smells great. And this is what's keeping this deck smelling so fabulous. And again, I love infusing all my decks with a essential oil scent because you know, your sense of smell is one of the most relevant senses that activates the subconscious mind quickly. So I love doing that. And let's see what else is in here. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. She gifted me this lovely pendant of Ganesh. Beautiful. I love Ganesh. He's revered as the remover of obstacles, patron of arts and science, lord of intelligence and wisdom, the son of Shiva. And he's worshipped in new beginnings, the start of new beginnings and rituals to ensure success. So that's interesting that it's, with this deck. Wow. His broken tusks apparently represent wisdom, and his trunk represents Om. Om. He's a key deity known for bestowing success and prosperity. He is also considered the guardian of travelers, merchants, and what else was it? Oh, writers and artists. I mean, how fabulous is that? So this is perfect for this deck and my personal acquisitions for the tarot, which is to create my own tarot deck. So this is part of my practice in doing flip through and reviews on tarot decks, because I'm very curious to see how decks have been rendered through the history of time on up to modern times, because I plan on painting my own deck. Now, I've got several decks painted already, and I'm using those as props for a film that I'm doing called The Murder Mystery Knit-Along. And also, this beautiful silk scarf is something that I created for this particular tarot deck. And this is a really fun process to do. I'm going to do a tutorial on how to do these silk scarves for your tarot or whatever else you want to use it for. And it's so much fun. Believe it or not, you use shaving cream to create this, this pattern. Oh, I love it so much. I love it so much. Okay, let's get her open and see what's going on here. So this is a picture of Meher Baba with his soulmate consort, divine feminine counterpart. I forget her name. I think it starts with an S. I should have done a little bit of research on that. I'll do an insert, but isn't she lovely? Aren't they beautiful? Oh, Meher Baba. Chai Baba. So Aunt Sandy and Uncle Tony, again, are devout devotees of Meher Baba, who is a yogi from India. 1940s. Oh, here she is. Meher Baba with Mehera, 1940s. So she was his female consort. She was the divine feminine counterpart. And I don't believe that they had an intimate relationship, but we're not really sure of, what that really looks like. But it was really fun going to the Meher Baba Center with Aunt Sandy and Uncle Tony, a bunch of really groovy hippies from the 1960s and 1970s. And, at a very young age, I was exposed to, my path to being a yogi. So I don't know, I just think that's so romantic. All right. So this deck that Aunt Sandy gave me is the Tarot of Marseilles. Is that how you pronounce it? I do believe so. And look at the patina on the cover of this booklet. It's just so exquisite. I love collecting ephemera. Anything that looks antique is just so sublime for, me and my working practice with textiles and fiber, and paper is a fiber. So I do a lot of work with fiber arts. Made in France. And then here's the back. And then, here, 1969. So this is probably one of the oldest decks I own. I do believe I have another deck from 1969. And, your basic instructions. I don't believe that, do they have a layout on how to do the deck in here? No. Okay. First off, this deck is probably one of the thickest decks that I have. The cardstock in this deck is superior. I mean, it is proper cardstock. It is so thick. I mean, you can't even do this with the deck. You know, it's almost impossible. And I love this thickness. So when it comes to getting my tarot deck that I'm creating printed, I'm definitely going to be using a very thick, sturdy cardstock. So as a graphic designer, pretty much my entire career, I went to Otis Parsons and studied graphic design. So yeah, I really love the cardstock on this. And look at that fabulous patina on the edge. Isn't that just exquisite? It's so subtle, but it's just so warm and inviting. You know, decades of the oils from the hands, you know, rubbing over it. It just, you know, it just resonates so much history and power. I think it's so beautiful. I love it. All right, let's do a quick little flip through on this deck. We'll come in a little bit closer. Okay, let's take a look at the deck, shall we? Start with the Fool's Journey. Now, interestingly enough, the Fool starts with the number 0. Now, in Golden Dawn tradition, when you become an initiate, you start off as a neophyte, and that's associated with the number 0 equals 0. So I think it's interesting that the Fool is also a 0. And also, I found out, I was watching a documentary the other night, and you know, there was an Indian mathematician named Brahma Gupta from, let's see, what was it? In the year, 600, the early 600, 628, I do believe. And he was a mathematician that actually invented the number 0, the digit 0. And I think that's so fascinating, right? He was the first to define 0 as a number in its own right. And that made a crucial transition as a placeholder in doing numbers. And it was referred to as void. It represents the void. And I think that's also super interesting. So in the cultural context, the concept known as, I think it's pronounced shunya, meaning void or empty. And it's still deeply rooted in ancient philosophical traditions and still used today in meditation, going blank, quieting the voices in the head when you're meditating. And I love that. Starting with a blank palette can be so refreshing. It's also a bit scary, but, it becomes limitless. So I love that the Fool starts with the number 0. The Magician. And here we're using primary colors. As a color theorist, with the acquisition to ultimately create my own tarot deck, I'm always very curious about how colors affect the psyche and the subconscious mind. Now, red, we associate red with danger and power. Warning. We have the blue, we have the yellow, we have the white, and then we have black, which technically isn't considered a color in the color wheel chart. So I think that's very interesting. Here we have the High Priestess with her, her book of knowledge open. She's doing her studies. And when I get to do my my deck, I've already come to the conclusion that I want to actually write something in the book so that you actually have to go in with a magnifying glass to see what it says, because this trains the eye and the subconscious mind to look for what is hidden. Go in deep. Go in as deep as you can. Look for what is hidden. So, of course, I'm going to be writing in my little booklet for my high priestess, look for what is hidden, my friends. Look for what is hidden. So much fun using a magnifying glass with this. Empress. The Pope. Number 5. You know, the number 5 in the minors is a bit precarious, and we're going to go through that. What the number 5 represents in the minors is really interesting. So, you know, with working with dealings, if you want to borrow money or you want to scam money from somebody or you want to, you know, do a deal, 5 would not be your best number to be working with. And we're going to get into that in a little bit. The Lover, not lovers, lover. The Chariot. I'm not sure what this is. I'll have to do some research on that. If any of you out there know what this means, I would love some comments. Justice. Oh my goodness gracious, my Hermit lost his lamp. It looks like somebody purposely, you know, that's a purposeful gouge out of this deck. But you know what? I still see a candle. I mean, all you need is a spark, a flicker, a tiny flame to light the way of love and inspiration in your heart, in your subconscious mind, in your journey. So fear not. You don't need a great big huge lighting the way. You can have just a little flame, because a flame can turn into a roaring fire. I love that, actually. You know, you work with what you have. I mean, maybe this obviously was intentional. So interesting, don't you think? The Wheel of Fortune, number 10. 5 plus 5 equals 10. When it comes to numbers and it comes to dealing with numbers, the number 10, especially next to the number 5, if you have the number 5,000, that's 5 zeros equals 10. So for me right now, with what I'm going through in my personal journey, is the karmic wheel. This is karma coming at you, baby. Yeah, with the winged monkey from the Wizard of Oz, like, dare to spar with the likes of me. Surely you must be mistaken. So that's pretty powerful, I feel like. That's very powerful. Force, not strength, force. And I feel like this is the perfect word for this particular card in this deck, because as you see, we have the matriarch archetype forcing open the mouth of the lion, forcing him to speak, forcing him to roar, allowing him to speak his truth and his might and his power. And I think that it's very interesting that the process of this lion moving forward is the power of a matriarch archetype. I love it. Who's in the seat, y'all? Who's in the seat, right? Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain, or in this situation, the woman. The Hanged Man. the Death card. Now, this is interesting to me because with this particular card, you can see that they've deviated off the natural progression of the design aesthetics in this deck. And I love that because it kind of makes you stop in your tracks because, it's a different design element. So your subconscious mind immediately targets this particular card out of the rest of the deck because it's not, the type is not down here. It's here. I find that so interesting. Design element 101. Temperance. The devil. With the yoga pants. Okay, so speaking of numbers, I don't know, somebody guess I had to do some math on here. What do we have? A 4, a 6, 65, 34. I don't know what that means. But it's interesting that with this deck going into numbers and numerology and equation, that this showed up. I mean, I don't know. That's very interesting. Like, what does this mean? This deck represents numbers. Okay. The Tower of Destruction. It's not just the tower or tower. It is the Tower of Destruction. I mean, mince no words here. It's not, giving you an opportunity to read the card any other way. But, yeah, you going down, bitches. You going down. Okay. But I love how they have these happy little bubbles floating down in the background. However, traditionally in the Kabbalah tradition, these are the Hebrew letter for one of the names of God. And I do believe it's Hive. I'll have to double check on that. We'll do an insert on that just to confirm what that looks like. So I love the Kabbalah. It's one of my favorite studies. Been studying it for quite a while. The Star. Okay, I love this rendition of the Star card, and I'm going to tell you why. Look at the universe above her head. This is not just a couple of stars that are the same color floating around her sphere. This is the entire momentum of the universe. This is creation, death, birth. Here we have a star that's in full bloom in its sweet spot, thriving, giving life, giving energy, fluxing, influxing. And then we have the death card, a dying star, a new star, a neutron star. I love that. So fascinating. And then we have her with the water, pouring the water into the stream. And I've been doing a lot of research on water lately. And, water holds memory. In the molecular structure of water, it holds the DNA of memory. So we're going to take a deeper dive into that at some point. I'm going to do a little bit more research and talk about that. But I think that's so interesting that now with modern science, you're connecting the dots to the tarot. I mean, they knew things that, we're just now learning today. So that information can be very powerful in a reading. I love this version of the moon. It's so dark. It's so, primal, primordial. And I'm going to tell you why. Because this lobster down here is not painted red like in most decks. You cannot see it. It's really buried deep in the murk, in the mud, in the dark, deep shadows of, pre-creation, procreation, the beginning of life in the primordial soup. I mean, it is so good. And this calls to me to go in deeper. You haven't gone in deep enough. You have to go deeper, deeper to do your shadow work. And fear not, because you have the beast guarding the journey. The two-headed beasts that escort you into hell. They're not there to scare you. They're there to usher in so that you can, they're like guardians to guard you as you go into the deep, dark caves of your own hell, your own fear. And then you have the moon. I mean, this is such a beautiful card. And of course, again, back in Kabbalah, this would have been a Hebrew letter representing one of God's many names. And there's a lot. And we can get into that in another reading with another deck that I have that symbolizes that a little bit more fluently. I love it. The creatures of the night. The sun. I mean, that would just make the best tattoo ever. You know, and again, here it is again, right? And in Hebrew Kabbalic technology, it's not a religion, it's a mystic technology. You know, just like going back to how Ganesh is represented with the Om, we're talking frequency. Same with these, the names of God. And with the Hebrew Kabbalic tradition, each letter in the Hebrew alphabet is a frequency. It's not just a letter that forms a word. They consider these alphabets to be incredibly sacred because each one of them has a certain frequency that pierces through, you know, your practice, when you're manifesting, when you're connecting. And I think that is so brilliant. It's so beautiful. So it is spoken, so it shall be. So it is spoken, so it shall be. Judgment. The world. Okay, now we're getting into the Suit of Cups. You know, this is not my favorite rendition of the cup suit, and I'm going to tell you why. To me, you know, right off the bat, my first intuition with this particular deck is institution. I see a church, I see a castle, I see a cathedral, I see organized religion. And yeah, so I'm a little bit, I'm not feeling a flow energy here at all. I'm feeling like I feel a bit gaslighted with this particular image of the Ace of Cups. Like, if you want happiness, baby, you better walk through them doors. But this one, however, I really do love this one because I love the rendition of the fish. But this is also interesting. This is the only card in the deck that has this block of color like that at the bottom. I think that's so bizarre. Like, what does that symbolize? I mean, I love the design aesthetic, but why is it the only card in the deck that does that? You see how this deck kind of goes off the beaten path every now and again? Very interesting to me. Three of Cups. Four of Cups. Now we're talking pips. I love the word pips. I think it's jolly. It's wonderful. It's helping me want to get into the study of pips. I'm not good at it. I'm a visual. I'm a Piscean. I'm an artist. I'm a visual creative director, and that's what I get hired to do, to see all the visual context of the story. So for me, this is math. This is numbers. This is a numbers card. And I am not great at math. So I don't know. It's gonna be a bit of a struggle for me, but I am willing to participate and expand my practice and work with some pips, and that means I'm gonna have to do some academic studying, traditional academic studying, institutional academic studying, and I don't really like doing that. I'm more of an intuitive reader. And also, I will tell you, when it comes to working with clients on a deck like this, pips are not my favorite to work with a client, because I like to have my client participate in their own reading. I show them the card and I want them to see what they're getting out of it. And then I help them, with the journey to be able to process and open up and see what is hidden for them, so that they can reveal their own question, their own truth. I'm not telling them what the cards are saying. I'm having them actively go in and participate. So, here we have the number 5 of Cups. And if you compare, if I look at this, I'm like, oh my God, that's the most beautiful wallpaper. Like, that is just going to be my, Christmas 2026 wrapping paper, like, all day long. But when you look at the artistic visual of the 5 of Cups, it looks very solemn. I'm telling you, with the minors, 5 is not a great number. And if you're dealing with $5,000, if you've gotten bamboozled for $5,000 or $50 or $500, just look at it like, you know what, I just bought first row seats to the execution, to the karma wheel, to watch you burn, motherfuckers. That's how I look at it. Karma can be a real bitch. But back to the number 5. Don't you think that's interesting? Wow. I mean, I would have never picked that up. I have to memorize it. So a practice that I'm going to be doing on a daily basis is just this. Taking the number 5 as a pip and putting it next to the visual of a number 5 in its illustrated form, because I'm going to be able to associate it better. So I've already got the number 5 down. Oh, thank God. Okay, 1 down. 6, 7, 8, 9. Tallulah. My dog Tallulah, which is an American Indian name, which means prosperity rushes to me like a raging river, is trying so hard to be quiet. She knows Mommy's videotaping. Good girl, honey bunny. Come here, sit with Mommy. The Knave of Cups. All day long, every day, I love this version of the Knave of Cups. Okay. So, I love the rendition of the Page of Cups in this deck. The Knave of Cups. Naive, naivety. I've always said that the page is immaturity, but I think being naive is such a more elegant way of saying immature. Naive. I'm going to remember that when I'm doing my deck. I love that. Naive, naivete. Being naive. Not necessarily immature, just naive. Ignorance is bliss. Knight of Cups. King of Cups. This is a beautiful card to me. Again, here we have, the symbol of the, the Jewish letter for one of the names of God. And I love that it's not a cloud. Like, could you just die? Look at the cuff. Oh my God, I want to design a cuff just like that. I love this so much. I love it so much. Oh my goodness gracious, I just love it so much. I think this is a very jolly green giant club, wand. I don't know what they call it in this deck. We're about to find out. But here we go with the pips. I don't even know if this is the club suit. I mean, for all I know, it could be the swords because they look so much alike. It was really confusing to me. And I mean, this card I love. I think it's so wonderful, but this is like, okay, this is gonna get me confused. I mean, it's and I'm not crazy about what this is. For me, it just looks like a ninja taekwondo basket weaving class. And it gets worse. Like, look at that. Oh, Mamma Mia. Really? Like, how? 5 of, what is this? We don't even know if it's a club or a wand, but here you have this one, right? So see how much easier it's going to be for me to equate this card with this one. With this particular deck, we know what it means: confusion, maybe argument, contradiction, not being able to get your thoughts in order, or it could be a meeting of the minds. It could be a debate. This looks like a basket weaving class for people that, just got a black belt in Taekwondo. And I'm not. You see how pips are like, you really kind of have to know. So that's okay. Sometimes you have to do what is uncomfortable. If it's uncomfortable and you fear it, you probably need to kind of attend to it sooner than later. Yeah. Oh my God. That's a lot of movement. It's all tied up in a knot, and then it's like jetting out, and it confuses me personally right now at this moment, but perhaps I will graduate to a different version of understanding the pips, but I'm not going to do it with this deck. I'll probably pick something that actually looks like a wand or clubs. The Knave of Clubs. Love it. I'm the Knave of Pips. So funny. Looks her club looks like she had it gold leafed, and it does look like an extension of her. Kind of looks like a strap-on. I mean, just to be clear, I mean, what is this? This isn't the first time that I've seen these sexual innuendos. I've studied subliminal seduction in college, and I was the executive art director for Hustler magazine and Chic magazine and a lot of other magazines that they published. And, she's packing. What can I say? The Queen of Clubs is packing. I love it so much. And you notice that the Queen is is taking precedence over the King in its status with this deck. I find that very interesting. Pentacles. Or what else do they call it? Coin. I mean, just lovely, isn't it? And here we have the Five of Pentacles. Let's see, do I have a... Oh, yes, here. Again, number 5 in the minors, not so great. You know what I mean? Like the number 5. A lot of people refer to this card as the Mistress card, which is always, never really works. The outcome ultimately is sacrificing yourself for somebody else's trauma. Now, again, if I look at this deck, I'm thinking, oh, that would just make the most fabulous fabric for the lining of a jacket. I wouldn't equate it to this. So understanding the pips, I think, is going to be a very interesting journey for me. The pips. I love that word. Oh, money. Just straight up money. It's not coin. It's not pentacles. It's not sacred geometry. It is money, honey. All right. Knight of money. King of money. The queen is in the counting house, counting out her money. Great card. And there's that cuff that I'm just like, oof. It's a cloud. It looks like it's supposed to be a cloud, but look, it looks, looks a little precarious, like there's a storm. There's a storm a-brewing. My friends, there's a storm a-brewing. Love it. This is a beautiful card. I love this card. When I was getting into tarot, the swords just really, I was afraid of it, representing legal documents, people in power, politicians, bosses, et cetera, et cetera. And I went in deep. I took a deep dive. I started, remote viewing and channeling the suit of swords. And I have to tell you, it changed my life. It changed my life. I'm Pisces, and I am, love, joy, happiness, romance. If there's a conflict, I don't want to say anything. I'd rather just walk away and keep my head in the sand. But as I started working with the suit of swords, it really, it really gave me a balance. Now, I say what I mean. I'm very direct. I mince no words. I don't do it to gaslight people or to hurt people's feelings. It's just the fact of the way that it is. I speak my mind, and I handle my shit. I handle my business. And it helped me with my finances. It helped me with my business. It helped me with my relationships with people, to be very direct and forward in my communication skills, in my writing skills, right? It was a great learning path for me. Oh, somebody took a chunk out of this card. So now I adore the suit of swords, but not in the pip version. And you see what I'm talking about? Like, this looks like so much like, it was hard to determine. I really had to study which one was which, because doesn't that look a lot alike? I mean, if it weren't for that sword going through there, I wouldn't have known. Yeah, a little bit confusing for me with this deck. Oh, here we are at the fives. Wait, what did I do? 2, 3, 4, Yeah, and here we go with the basket weaving, ninja basket weaving thing again. Now let's see, we are in swords. Let's look at a minor illustrated version of the swords, shall we? And take a look at, put them side by side and get a visual on that. I mean, it's so much easier. But if I continue to do it like this as a practice, just take one card at a time, side by side, it will resonate. But this is just too confusing for me. I'm not resonating with it at all. It's just a little bit too heavy and for me. Knight of Swords. Knight of Swords. Now here again is, what is up with the mask being attached to his shoulder pad? I love that design element so much. I'm going to make a costume like that because I think it is just so badass. It'll be a bit 80s, but I don't care. I mean, I just think that's so good. It's so Phantom of the Opera. And look, he has two. Oh, one is laughing, one is sad. Theater, comedy, tragedy, comedy, tragedy. Aha, it's a double-edged sword, isn't it? I have command of the sword. Mercy versus severity. Mercy versus severity. Wow. Really good. Really good. I just recognize that. I love it. I love it so much. Now, as a side note, I failed to point out the fact that I do not have a Queen of Cups in the deck. She is gone missing. She probably ran off with, another deck or something. I don't know. But what I plan on doing as a graphic designer, very savvy with working with textiles, because I do a lot of junk journaling, which I resent people using that as a terminology because to me it's art, so I prefer to call it collage coutouring. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find an image of the Queen of Cups in this deck because I have a feeling that this deck is very rare, very difficult to find, and when you do find it, it's very expensive. So rather than trying to go find an original deck, I'm just going to go ahead and find a Queen of Cups. And since this suit is in pretty good condition, this is not a stark white, it's more like a linen, so I could pick up a linen cardstock, print out a Queen of Cups from the internet, scan the back of this card because it already has the perfect patina that I need that will, match the deck. And then I'm going to glue two heavy cardstocks together to get the perfect cardstock weight of this deck, which is sublime. Now, all the decks that I create for my film, the Murder Mystery Knit Along, I am using very thick cardstock, and it is fabulous. It is fabulous. And I came up with I invented a very special technique with this deck so that not this deck, but the decks that I create, so that when you're shuffling them, the sound, it literally sounds like music. It is so beautiful. And I'll do a review on those decks at some point because they're really fun. And I want to be able to do a tutorial on how you can make your own oracle deck or your own tarot deck just by saving images that you like off the internet, right? And you can just be creative and do something that resonates with you, with a simple printer and some wood glue and a couple of few other little things that, elements that you'll be needing in the studio, but it doesn't cost a lot of money, and it is so much fun and so satisfying. So on that note, I want to thank everybody for joining me today, doing a flip through of the Tarot of Marseille. And with that, I just want to say, Om. Thank you, Ganesh, for participating. And remember, everyone, you are precious. You are a star. And remember, reach for the stars. All right, thanks, everybody. Bye.